Good afternoon, everybody. Well, here I am again. When I say again, you didn't see the first video because I deleted it because I'm sad and pathetic. But let's talk about World of Warcraft. The once behemoth of an MMORPG, probably the first one to actually achieve the title for massive multiplayer online game. With some 15 million players at its peak, it lit up the lore of the World of Warcraft like it was meant to be. So, yeah. We're going to talk about this today. Anyway, so why am I back? Well, I miss it. I loved it. I have friends, I have history, and there's so much hope for it getting better. But, okay, so let me just explain. Me personally, not we, or the royal we, if you like. We joined this game back in 2005. I believe it was several months before Burning Crusade. I could be wrong. Anyway, hang on. I'll tell you what, there's an easy way, isn't there? Right, okay. So, yeah, basically, it's been a long time me playing this game. So 2004, so we're talking 20 years, or 2005, 19 years if you like. I came into the game just before Burning Crusade got released, and yeah, I was new, I was naive. I started off in the American service, which was an eye-opening experience. We decided that... I say it again, I am including my ex in this because she enjoyed used to playing it as well. But anyway, so yeah, we used to play on the American service. It was certainly was an eye-opening experience, to say the least. The Americans take the whole guild concept to a new level, and I kind of knew that I wanted to be part of a guild, or even run a guild. Didn't have a clue what that entailed, but I thought I'd give it try anyway. So when I came back to the game recently, I was living on history and thoughts and prayers and love and all that because I'm such a sweetheart. But no, I came back after a couple of months worth of absence. Had a bit of a falling out with a couple of, who I thought were friends, but these two lads have so much hatred in their heart. It's unbelievable. Not willing to do anything about it, but they absolutely hate the world, I think, and hate themselves because, why would you just live in the right-wing bubble and just ignore it? But that's another story. Anyway, good luck to them. That's all I can say. Good luck to them. So let's talk about history. In 2004, this game was released, okay, and I think it was 2010 when it reached its peak, its pinnacle of 12 million players, 12 million players worldwide. They conquered the world in terms of, it was a cultural phenomenon. It had references in pretty much most mainstream media, even just in passing, and obviously the infamous South Park episode, which we all loved. It was probably what got me interested in the game, to be honest with you, because at the time I didn't want to be buying a game and then paying for a game every month. It just seemed like the weirdest concept in the world to me. But I joined, and I joined and I loved it. And with this current patch, I didn't expect much to have changed, and it hasn't really. It's been sat there stagnant, and basically again, there's another disposable bad guy. Blah 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 blah. It's always going to be the same. It's just the World of Warcraft. You can go from expansion to expansion, and it's oh god, this is the greatest threat. Ooh, and then it's oh god, this is the next expansion for 40 quid. Here's another greatest threat. Ooh, it's rinse and repeat, and essentially, it feels like the same. Now, okay, let's talk about things. Basically, I came into the game again. I enjoyed it, and it developed me as a person. Sorry, I keep on looking down at my left, guys, because I'm waiting for a message. I do apologise. I should have been ignorant and left my phone outside the studio. So anyway, yeah. Basically, we'll talk about the game. So, what was my favourite expansion? Well, I'm obviously an old school player, but it's not what most people think it is. Most people think it's like Burning Crusade. No, well, I disagree with that one, because I came in to Burning Crusade probably a few months after it got released. People were already level 60 by then. Sorry, level 70. Sorry, my bad. No, level 60. No, yeah, level 70. Yeah. Sorry. What's wrong with me? Yeah, level 70. And basically, they'd already had flying mounts and everything else like that. I came through the Dark Portal, and, I was basically just running around. And if I remember rightly, I came through at level 58, like most people could back then. And the level experience was just so quick. It was unbelievable. But anyway, we played... Burning Crusade, and enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was great. I met some of my longest in-game friends in that expansion. But for me, I mean, my favourite expansion was Wrath of the Lich King. Basically being a World of Warcraft player. Being a Warcraft player. I do vaguely remember playing. Like Warcraft 3, Arthas and all that, and I do remember, again vaguely, I was never one for like sitting there and soaking up the lore, like a homeless man with a piece of bread and some gravy. I just kind of like it existed, but I did kind of follow the story a little bit, but didn't really like soak it all in. So it's never been really very interesting. However, that did light up my world. I did enjoy it. I thought it was dark, brooding, fun, exciting. There's probably 100 other words I could use to describe it. I had laughs and tears through that expansion. Basically, we again, like many other people, broken relationships and all that. We laughed, we cried. Basically. It is what it is, history is history. But, basically, Wrath of the Lich King was thinking. And then I would probably say what we're on now, I think Midnight's, I think I read yesterday, it's something like the 11th expansion. So we've had 10 expansions in total in World of Warcraft. I would probably say every single one from that point was just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, Pandaland... terrible, absolutely terrible. Did not like it in the slightest. The introduction of the monk class did nothing for me. I just couldn't understand why there was a necessity for it. Okay, I get it, cute pandas. Okay, you can like love them or hate them, but it is what it is. And then we moved on to I'm going to get my history wrong here, but I'll just talk about a few of the expansions. It's not really that important. We'll talk about what do you call it? Oh God, Warlords of Draenor. Yet another terrible expansion, in my opinion. A bit confusing, a bit convoluted. The whole whole basically time jump and kind of thing didn't really make much sense to me. But it is what it is. Garrisons were okay, but God, they were always buggy. They were always. I'm just gonna turn the sounds off for a second. They were always like a little bit. Glitchy, and you have to log in, and you'd probably have to wait hours to get into your garrison, and then you'd have to invite your friends so they could use your garrison. It was just a mess. But like the raids, that's where it killed the raiding experience for me. I think it wasn't exciting, it wasn't interesting, and basically I just didn't really enjoy it. I think. If we move on a little bit further now, because again, Cataclysm wasn't really a thing for me. I didn't really enjoy Cataclysm. I did enjoy the lore. I did like the whole, basically ultimate evil world breaker boss, whose name I've forgotten off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. Basically, Deathwing. Yeah, that's him, Deathwing. Basically, I did enjoy that part of the game, but again, the question was a bit terrible, and to be honest, I thought the final boss fight in the expansion was a bit weak. Then we could probably argue a little bit about like other expansions, but I think the next one that was memorable towards me was Legion. I did enjoy Legion only because of the whole legendary weapon. That I thought that was quite interesting. The fact that you could collect all these legendary weapons, was pretty good. The horse mounts, for the random drops were for the classes. I mean, they were quite good. I quite enjoyed that. The question was okay. Was it really any different than any other expansion? No, not really. It kind of just kept that cycle rolling and rolling and rolling of the Blizzard cash cow, as we always put it. But it just kept on going and going and going. So what can you expect? It is what it is. And then, of course, like we're going to move on to was it Battle for Azeroth? Oh my god, yeah, terrible idea, terrible concept. But I like to see what I liked what they're trying to do with the two islands, keep them separately. Two capital cities, that kind of thing, and they're trying to like mix the quests up. I did enjoy that part, I guess, but I thought it was a bit overwhelming. But again, sorry, I keep on saying but it's just I'm trying to give you positives and negatives on everything. When you came to like raiding, I thought that the raids were particularly frustrating and annoying. That I can't. I'm going to forget what it's going to call that. Zul'Amani basically 5-man dungeon as well. That was just fucking annoying. To this day, I still haven't done it on Mythic Plus. I just couldn't be asked to do it on Heroic. I did it once, and that was it. I never wanted to go back again. It was probably one of the ones that I just actively avoided. But again, that was just me. I may like touch back on these kind of like situations later on, but. And then we moved on to Shadowlands. Oh my god, what a festering pile of shit that was. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, anybody that like enjoys Shadowlands needs to be shot. I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean in a proverbial way. It's one of those expansions that you just wish never existed. Sorry, second, guys, just have to get a drink. Oh, I'm getting a bit dry throat. Sorry, do apologise. So yeah, we never really liked like Shadowlands. I liked the artwork. The art style was brilliant. The artwork was brilliant. It was it was futuristic, realistic. Well, realistic in terms of which faction you went with, that kind of area. It was quite kind of nice. I didn't like the way that you were kind of stuck to one thing, because I think I would have preferred the all feathery area. Again, sorry, it's been a while. I do apologise. Rather than the volcanic, like hellscape that I was assigned to as a warlock. I guess, and it was a personal choice, but obviously, like most things in this game, it's cookie cutter, cookie cutter or not. Basically, you don't get like nice things from places you want to be. You get nice things from that they assigned you to. And then, for me, the highlight of all these expansions that have since came out was Dragonflight. Now, I can only give you like complete positives about Dragonflight. I generally thought that it would be the expansion that would reignite the fire under the player base of World of Warcraft. Basically, the whole Dragonflight thing was innovative. It was new. It was exciting. The whole, basically. Get together as a group of friends, do things, as a group. That was reignited. questing was interesting. Dailies were a godsend. The spell books were back again, if I remember rightly, as well. I mean, it might have been just before then. I can't truly remember. Talent trees, basically that was all back, and it was brilliant. I loved it, and it's possibly the best expansion since Wrath of the Lich King. People, that I've spoken to really enjoyed it. The lack of worldwide interest was maybe a bit of a disappointment, but I'm sure the numbers would have peaked a little bit because I think everybody got a new thirst for it. Like I said, I've always been quite interested in the dragon kind. Basically, throughout these storylines, the only thing that's really got me excited is the stories and the lore and everything. So sorry, I'm getting attacked there. So that's what I'm still getting for standing and talking to people. So it basically, when it comes to Alex Estraza and the different sections of yeah sorry yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't even remember what they're called now. But anyway, basically, the dragon flights. That's it. It's the tip of the tongue. So when you got the black dragon flights, the blue dragon flights, and all that was quite interesting as well. So I loved it. I really loved it. And when War Within was announced, and the whole World Soul like epic saga. Sorry, it's like being so fucking boring. Oops, sorry, I swore. Yeah, basically, when it was like announced, I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I don't know. Just I kind of held out hope that there would be innovative. I thought it would be something new, something fresh, something great, something like breathtaking, but. And here's the but. The first thing I'm going to complain about, right, and I will complain about this because, frankly, I'm not exactly amused. But basically, when the game was announced, it was like, this is the new expansion. Oh, brilliant, fantastic! I can't wait for this new expansion. Oh, by the way, if you don't pay $79.99, you're going to be basically you're going to have to join the game 3 days later, and be like. Hang on a minute, basically that's never been a condition before, and at the time I wasn't really able to play a lot, so justifying that much money was probably not really, a done thing. It wasn't really, money that I could just throw away. So sadly, I was left in the dark, like in the dark, out in the cold, while my friends that could afford to do it basically went ahead. And after, I think it was after the first 18 hours, they'd already hit the max level, and it kind of deflated me. And I thought from that point, well, there's no way I'm buying this game. There's no way in this earth, because it just seems pointless to me. Why would I want to join a game that, basically all my friends have already gone ahead and finished, and they were all giving me complaints and saying, "Oh, it's just the way it is," and I just did not want, didn't have any interest in playing the game. So I ummed and ahed about it for a few weeks, and I was like, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, and it was always like one thing or another. I was like, oh, I don't think I'll be able to afford it this week. I don't know if I'll be able to get the cash together, and then kindly one of my guildmates, he actually bought me the expansion, which that I'm eternally grateful for. So I joined the game, and I don't know. I just wasn't excited. Like I said, I don't know if it was because I was still sulking from the whole level, and they all gone ahead and they're already massively ahead of me and all this stuff, and it just I don't know. I wanted more. I wanted more. So we get into the game, and basically the learning curve is a little bit different. Like the whole Dalaran thing. Again, I won't spoil it if you haven't played this expansion and think about ever wanting to come back. But you go into this thing, and then you get to max level, and then basically it's like, oh yeah, let's go into delves, and and I'm asking the question, what the fuck is a delve? And they're going, oh yeah, it's essentially like a 1 to 3 man dungeon. I was like, all right, okay. It's like, oh yeah, you can get like all these cool things from it, right? Okay, so didn't interest me and didn't excite me. And once I'd seen them once, I really wasn't interested. And then yes, I know you could go around and do like different versions of it, and it was like a different quest every time you went in there. Just no interest, absolutely no interest. And I think that's half the problem for me. Basically, well, actually, I'll come to that in a second, but basically the whole concept of this disposable content didn't really excite me. I don't really appreciate what do you call it? Oh God, sorry, I'm struggling for words here. I don't really appreciate like crappy zones, and I think that's what it was with War War Within. I mean, look, okay, you found a lost island. Oh God, that's an original concept. And like, oh look, you found a cave. Oh look, there's an original concept. Oh, there's another cave. Oh, there's an original concept. Oh, and there's one more cave. Oh, great, fantastic, yay! I'm over the moon. That's awesome. I can't believe how great that is. It just didn't bother me. Really didn't bother me. I was confused by the storylines. I was confused by the quests. Like, am I the bad guy here? Are they the bad guy? Am I the bad guy? Wait, whoa, hang on, whoa. So, and then you'd be like re-examining everything you knew. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's for me, it felt like a hot mess. Now, I probably haven't been the same since like Varian got killed, sorry, spoiler, when he got killed on the beach in Legion. I kind of kept on hoping he would come back. He was like, oh look, I'm really alive. I fell down a hole, that kind of thing. So it's that would have been something, but like having Anduin as the main hero. Dare I call him hero? Being a whiny little bitch, isn't he? Really, he's a proper little whiny bitch, and I don't really subscribe to the whole he's the king of Stormwind. I really don't want to interact with that that guy. Basically, it's like, yeah, well, whatever. But anyway, so basically, Shadowlands and Shadowlands and War Within have been a mess, and I really have not enjoyed it in the slightest. I really don't think that there was anything in this expansion that could have really, got me, thirsting for more. All the quirky things like little armor sets and collectibles and even raids, they just seem like a waste of time. And I was one of the ones that was championing for having basically one second, let's turn this music off. I was one of these ones that was championing championing. Anyway, I was one of these people that was screaming out from the highest rooftop. See, went in there. I was one of these people that was screaming from the highest rooftop back in the day that we should have some kind of like practice runs with little to no consequences, and I think that's what Looking for Raid did. Now, you could probably argue, but Looking for Raid, basically ruined this game. It's very much the same as Looking for Group. I think that ruined this game as well. And I think the reason for that is because when you played this game originally, and if you're old school like me, you had to join a guild. It was the only way you could progress in this game. Now, I know that system is open for abuse, but that's basically the system. And basically, if you join a guild, you want to raid, or you want that's the logical choice. 1 second. So that's the logical choice of going from being a basic leveling player to somebody that wants to raid. So
you don't have to tell us twice.
1 second. Turn this house up again. So yeah, basically somebody that wants to, who wants to get to end game. Like I said, I didn't experience end game raiding in classic. Now I know obviously there's classics out now, but I would never ever play classic because I don't know. It's like for me, it's unimaginable that if you've got let's just say for argument's sake, a brand new Ford car. You got a brand new Ford car, and then somebody said, "Do you know what? Tell you what, I'll swap you out your brand new car for a Mark II Escort." Now the idea seems fucking great. It seems absolutely fantastic. Let's get a Ford like a Ford Escort Mark II. They were the height of fashion back in the day, and then you get in it, and it's the most uncomfortable, hardest thing to drive in the world. But people are looking at you, so that's kind of where I feel about like classic. I would never want to sit and spend any time with it. But as I said, raiding was just was never an option. For that. So I think that basically I've lost my train of thought. Basically the whole having to experience the game like ungilded would be horrible, but I think that's where it shifted. I think that's the way it shifted over the years. Like gilding has become more of an option there than rather than a considered choice. You don't have to be in a guild anymore. There's no reason to be in a guild anymore. I mean, you could probably, if you wanted to spend a little bit of time, you could probably get into a looking for group, or you could probably sign up for like one of the many hundreds of random European pub groups that they put together, and you can put your name down for, or you could even pay like a certain amount of in-game currency to join a group and get pulled through it. It's all an option, and it's a horrible option as far as I'm concerned. I don't see why anybody would want to do that kind of thing, but it is what it is. But that's where the game started to go wrong for me. I do understand the whole standing in Stormwind. I'm old enough to remember that, like looking for a tank. Anybody got a tank? Need a tank? Oh, I'm a healer. And I remember all that. It was, it was hard. But that's why you had big guilds back in the day. Yeah, you had massive guilds. Claim to fame, I guess, but our guild back in the day, we had so many characters we couldn't even see them on the list. It was well over 800, 900 characters. Basically something I was quite proud of, but it was really hard to manage. But anyway, yeah. So finding a healer, finding a tank, finding even DPS, became so much easier with looking for raid, but it made it so much harder as well. I didn't want to play this game. I don't play this game to feel terrible. And basically you could get in there with a group of 4 from your own guild, and that one person will just make your life a misery. You do not want to do that experience. You get all those elitist jerks out there going, "Oh, you're doing that wrong. I play a warlock on another realm, or I play a paladin." It's just ridiculous. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to deal with it. And then, basically, your guildies will start, start an argument, and then you feel terrible because, it's bringing the name down. You just don't want to do that kind of thing. And people don't realize how hard it is to play a game when you're I guess a sensitive soul, really, somebody who likes to be likes to be well thought of and stuff like that. So looking for raid was horrible. It was a horrible thing, and it ruined it for so many other reasons. Then there was the whole, well, there's no need to be in a guild anyway. Basically, I mean, I vaguely remember back in the day when shadow resistance was a thing in Black Temple, and we had to get loads of shadow gear. I mean, I know there was runs before that was fire resistance in. Oh, I'm going to say Serpentine Cavern. I'm probably wrong, but or it might have been Ashes of Valhalla. But anyway, basically, fire resistance was a thing. You needed fire resistance. Basically, it was. Sorry about that, guys. And again, I'm waiting for a message. I do apologise. yeah, basically, you had to farm these things, and obviously we were heading quickly towards the final patch of the expansion. If I remember rightly, I could be wrong here, but I'm sure that Sunwell Plateau was rushed through at the last minute because they thought they were going to be ready for the next expansion, and they weren't. So Black Temple was meant to be the end of it, and we got some bonus content. But like we were plowing through Black Temple while we were getting this gear, and literally the week that we managed to get all the gear, all the shadow gear, resistance gear made, Blizzard took away the requirement. It was like, nope, don't need it anymore. You don't need shadow resistance. Like, son of a bitch. So you had all this. You had this sense of community back then, and I think since then it started to fade away. I think that whole community spirit kind of thing has gone, and I've seen some friends come and go, because of maybe it hasn't gone fast enough, hasn't gone quick enough, and they want to achieve, and they spend their money like everybody else. I've heard it all over the years, and I do generally understand where they're coming from, and it doesn't make me feel any better because as a like a GM and as a friend, I kind of feel like that we've played this game and fought in the trenches, like if you like, all the imaginary trenches. And seeing them up and leave to go to a better guild, it was never an easy choice. But like even that now doesn't really exist. It doesn't really happen. And I know there's still top guilds out there like Method and other ones. So I couldn't really name any off the top of my head. I know there's plenty of other guilds out there like that really want to achieve and stuff like that. But I think there's the point as well. The game. Sorry, I keep on stopping playing. I do apologise. The game has moved on, and but I think also I have, basically a lot of the player base has. I mean, if you're sad. How do I put this? A sad shop worker who does stock checks for a living, basically, has no life, no girlfriend, no other interests outside of World of Warcraft. Basically, you're gonna be bored. You're gonna hate the world, and you're gonna spend all your time basically thinking that you're something special because you can do Mythic 10, Mythic 15, Mythic 20. But does it really make a hill of beans at the end of the day? No, not really. And that I think there's the problem. I just have no thirst for it. I don't want to achieve anything. I don't really, I was enjoying just basically coming in, doing my dailies. Maybe going to find a mount or something. That was my thing, because what's the point of doing it without guildies? Basically, it doesn't mean anything. Like I don't. For me, I've gone down that route. I've gone down the whole spending time doing, oh God's sake, sorry, it's just something spawned behind me. We've done this whole thing where basically, I've struggled to get 10 players on, because I think. Anybody that knows me, I've always preferred the big raids. I've always preferred being that guy who wants to who wants to basically command a big raid, command a big group, enjoy World of Warcraft as a group. I mean, like, again, I'm not being big-headed because plenty of people did it before me. But we did Lich King when it was current. We failed to do Black Temple when it was current. Obviously, Sunwell had came back out after that. We'd possibly done Kel'Thas, I think, before that. I don't know, but anyway, we like to think that we achieved some things in this game, and we did. I think we were at the time we were the second guild on the server that basically took down the first boss in Ulduar. Again. Like I said, I enjoyed doing it as a guild. I enjoyed doing it as a big guild. It was fun, and people need to realise that that's why we keep on coming back. to this game. That's why we enjoy these small victories. But like I say, when your friends like have to feel like they have to up and leave, then you have to just accept the decision. I always took it really hard sometimes, and for some reason, like even though I was well, in my eyes, the injured person, some people would just basically find a way to try and bring me down even further. Kick me in the teeth when we're. So, well, yeah, I know. But where's it gone wrong? Where has Warcraft gone wrong for me? I would have to say that basically it is the lack of community. I mean, the game is designed, or sorry, I should say, the game was designed around the whole guild structure thing. The whole, get together with a group of your friends, enjoy the game, basically do what you have to do, basically work as a team. And they say when they took that out of it, basically it screwed it all up. So where are we at now? I mean, that's the question. We're now good about moving to, say, midnight, 11th expansion. Same boss from this one is going to be in that one, except she's going to be more powerful. Yay, wow, she's going to be a new godlike presence. Oh, like we haven't seen that before. It doesn't really intrigue me. And if I'm brutally honest, I'm a bit ignorant when it comes to Quel'Thalas, the new zone, obviously. It's based around like the whole Sunwell, and she's trying to raid the Sunwell, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the faces. I don't know the the heroes. I don't know the bad guys, and I think I've lost interest. So why do I keep on playing it? Why do I keep on paying $9.99 a month? Because I'm afraid I missed something. I guess. Like, it was an analogy I used to use that it's like being in an abusive relationship. Basically, you think there's no way out. You think that basically that nothing's gonna, nothing's gonna get better in your life, for leaving the game. But it's not going to get any better for being in the game, and that's the way that the game has turned out to be. I mean, if you wanted to put it like a thumbtack in it, I would definitely redesign the game into more guild designed kind of structure. I would, God, this sounds so intense. I would basically take it back to the drawing board and not force people, but have consequences. Let's just say consequences. So if you were in a guild and you joined a guild, when you downed a boss in a guild of full of people, you would have to go back to farming items. As a guild, you'd have to go back and do things. I'm not talking about ridiculous grinds like the shadow gear, but certainly get, as a group, get together, collect whatever you have to get that done. Right now, I know that possibly still exists in some form or another when it comes to this game, but when it comes to actual practice, it doesn't really matter, because once that person's got that gear, and I'm just using Burning Crusade as an example, there was nothing stopping them from leaving with that gear. You couldn't control that. You couldn't stop people from just walking away. Now again, people should have choice. Again, and I know that system is open for abuse, and I realise that basically that your system, for doing this is one reason or another. But I do believe that if you had a system where, as a guild, you took down a boss as a guild, I keep on repeating this because this is the important part, that you get some piece of armor that, or weapon or trinket, that basically gives you an X amount extra bonus for being in that guild. Basically, let's just say, and I'm just going to give you an example. Let's just say 40%, 40% extra, that gives you 40% extra as a guild, over anything else. So if Mythic is, say, 100 DPS, let's say suddenly you, as a guild, you got 140 DPS. Fantastic. However, the caveat to that is if you leave that guild, then basically that armor is taken away from you. Now, I know that sounds horrible and it sounds like, like punishing. And again, it sounds like it's open for abuse for people. People can like abuse that system, especially some of the GMs I've seen over the years. But you know, I do think that the game needs that sense of community again. The, that's that's the part when people like basically walk away and sort of like go, well, what's the point? What's the point of being here? It's just the same thingy. Then and there's something else I'll touch on in a second. Actually, repetitive nature. So if you've basically if you've got the game and basically doing the same shit week in week out. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, when you're doing the same shit week in week out, it's it's kind of sucky that you. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I do apologise. Yeah, basically, it is kind of sucky that you. Sorry, I do apologise. Sorry about that, guys. It is a very important message that I'm waiting for. So yeah, basically, you kind of think, well, what's the point? Why am I even here? I don't want to be here. I want to be doing something else. I want to be playing something more fun with my valuable time, and I get that. I do get that. But like, if you're working as a team and down something as a team, it's so much better. And I think that was lost with with this new whole expansion kind of thing back in the day when they decided, well, you know what? We're not going to do any more dungeons this expansion. We're just going to make it harder, make the loot rewards better. But that never interested me. I liked exploring new areas. I liked exploring new dungeons. Back in the day, I used to go into Blackrock Depths, basically, and it was by accident I found that quest, even though you didn't need it then. I found that quest for the Onyxia achievement quest. That was brilliant. Like by accident, I found it by accident, and then it was amazing. Basically the whole epic feel of it. Going to Stormwind, marching through Stormwind. People were like messaging us all the time back in the day, and they were like, "Oh, how did you do that? Why is these guys all saluting you? What's going on here? Why are they all following you?" And then people would just tag along, and then we'd end up in the throne room, and then all hell would break loose. I think she turned into a dragon or something. I can't remember what the final outcome of that was, but basically everybody was like, "Oh my god, how did you do that? And like, how did that happen?" And then you would explain it. So basically, having those storylines back in it might be a good thing as well. But the whole repetitive nature of Mythic and Mythic Plus and Heroic and all that, basically it just doesn't interest me, and I think a lot of people feel the same. I know a lot of people enjoy it, and yeah, delves, but I know it's impossible that that they can produce a new dungeon every time. But that was, I mean, like think of like Wrath of the Lich King, that last patch before before whatever it was, Pandaland or whichever one it was after that. Before that came into play. Basically, they brought out like Magistra's Terrace. Sorry, not Magistra's Terrace. What am I on about? Ice Crown Citadel. They brought out Ice Crown Citadel. And it was a new dungeon, and basically, even though I hated those 3 dungeons, not hate enough that I would never want to play them again, but I mean, at the time, I just thought, oh my god, these are so fucking awkward, and basically, it just doesn't feel like special now because we're just getting the same 5 dungeons repeated over and over again. Now I know in the next expansion we've got 4 leveling dungeons and 4 like mythic heroic dungeons. Doesn't interest me, really doesn't. So I don't know how to how to get that through to Blizzard's head. I mean, obviously they're a multi-billion-pound company owned by Microsoft, and efficiency and basically is always going to be the way. But I certainly would like to see some reward for being in a guild and some punishment for not being in a guild. I know it probably won't work for everybody. Like I said, it is open for abuse. People could just threaten people and have them kicked out and stuff like that. Sorry, I do apologize. Yeah. So yeah, basically, it's just not fun to yeah, again, sorry about the phone guys. It's a really important message. I do apologize. But yeah, basically, basically having that experience as a guild works so much better. But basically having disposable content like killed the game. Uh, I don't know. Like I say, I don't know if I'll ever get the answer, but maybe the game just got old. Maybe people just got sick of it. I mean, the graphics, 20 years on, or nearly 20 years on, are just the same old graphics. Yes, they've had a few texture increases. Yes, they've had a little bit more refinement, but and what's capable in this day and age, is there any excuse for it? You know, you could look at Final Fantasy and think, God, that looks nice. You could look at I don't know. I'm trying to think sorry, I don't know the name of that game. That turn-based combat game from. Oh God, it's on Xbox at the moment, and PlayStation got it as well. But anyway, let's just forget that name for now. So, yeah, basically those kind of games, basically do it so much better. So maybe people just, thirsting for more. Maybe they're wanting, basically better graphics, better environment. But that doesn't help people like me who tend to live in the past and live on love and memories. So look, will it get any better? I do miss those days. I do miss all that fun. I do miss the adventure. I do miss opening up things. I do miss downing the boss for the first time. The whole downing of the Lich King for the very first time in 25 men was probably one of my highest achievements in a game. I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. When we did Yogg Saron, which wasn't current, I may add, when we did Yogg Saron, that was fantastic as well. When we did, I can't remember the other one, when the Gates of Anchorage, when they opened up in Gates of Anchorage, again, not current, because our server was relatively new back then. When that opened up, that was such an event. It was amazing. It was, fantastic. And that's what the game needs. It needs adventure. It needs epic stories. It needs stories that you have to do as a team, and not crappy dungeons. Crappy dungeons are never going to do it. Crappy delves are never going to do it for me. The whole doing things as a group, forcing you to do it as a group, that is just perfect for me. I don't know, if there's any way that Blizzard could enforce it. I mean, people might get pissed off and just go, well, I'm not playing that. If you're making me do this, I don't want to be there. I don't want to feel like I'm forced to be there. But I think that is part of the parcel of the game. I mean, anybody that's played Dungeons and Dragons knows how hard it is to organise a Dungeons and Dragons game to get everybody there at the same time. It's the same with World of Warcraft, except you're not in the same room. There's less of an excuse for not being here, for doing things together. So I don't know. Like I say, I mean, I would even give up my guild and give up my, my baby, if you like. I mean, it's empty now anyway. There's nobody ever around. But I would give that up in a heartbeat, just to be part of something like that. I don't want to do stupid epic raids. I don't want to do mythic raids. I don't want to do whatever. Like I say, because yes, okay, there's a nice little tag on the end of the arm and it says mythic or whatever. But I just think that being part of a guild should mean something. And and look, I know we're moving into midnight and we're getting player housing, because I'm not entirely sure what that means yet. But sticking a fucking conservatory on an imaginary house doesn't exactly excite me. Doesn't make me want to go, yay! I'm going to go out and spend 70 quid. I just want to play the game and enjoy it. And yes, I'll probably be back. And yes, I will pay my $9.99 a month. Blizzard have got what's the word I'm looking for? A happy mug in this scenario. So that's it. That's my life. Basically, I will go back and play the new expansions, and I'll probably experience the dungeons. I'll probably do it alone. I'm not really bothered. do I want to experience delves? Because it looks like they're leaning full into that one in the next expansion. It's like, oh yeah, delves would be met with positive actions. I don't know why. I don't know who would do that. It's just a daily boring thing that you have to do. It doesn't excite me. Have I cheated on World of Warcraft, over the years with other games? Yes. And has it been successfully cheating? Like things like Terror Online and Guild Wars 2, although Guild Wars 2 came really close, I have to say, I did enjoy Guild Wars 2. Aeon, all these games that basically that have come and gone, and none of them have held up to the drug that is World of Warcraft. So, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. And I'm sorry for waffling on for so long, but yeah, basically, we're a new studio. We needed content, and it looks like I'm the only one that's doing anything. But yeah, basically, sorry, I'm just talking to the guys in the production booth. So I wanted to talk about something that I'm very passionate about and something I love. So yeah. Anyway, right. Thank you for joining us, guys. And again, sorry for the waffle on, and sorry for the little swear words that are sneaked in there. I do apologise, but love you all. Bye. Right, turn it off, lads. Stop.